Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media. Today it's a Sunday morning. I'm having my co-host Kevin Makobura, and we are just going to look at the news that made headlines during the week. We call it the recap at the viewpoint. And hello, Mr. Makobura. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm grateful.
How is your Sunday, brother?
It's okay. We thank God.
Yeah.
He has been merciful and there for us.
That is great to hear from you, brother. So today we just want to look at few things, or few news, the news that made the headlines during the week. I know there are so many of them, but like we will talk of few that we feel on our side that we need to touch on. And I know each and every person might have their own views based on how they see it. But we will start with one about the frequent foreign trips by our president.
Yes.
And when you look at the lavish life of the state officials, yeah, the president is making a global tour. What can you say about the frequent flights of the president?
Yes. The people of Kenya have been concerned and they've been trying to ask so many questions on this
Mm-hmm.
matter because it's been on headlines for quite some days now. And it said that the president has had a total of 53 trips,
Mm-hmm.
both within Africa and outside Africa. And it said that he has visited 38 countries. Now, the question we should be asking ourselves is are these trips really beneficial to the people of Kenya? And what are the benefits?
Mm-hmm.
If we keenly look at these visits or flights or trips,
Mm-hmm.
Kenyans are really not very okay with these trips because they say the trips are not really yielding results, and it's just a wastage of public money and resources because for every flight that the president makes they always use a lot of millions of money, and so Kenyans are concerned.
Yeah.
If we try to look into the benefits of these said trips,
Mm-hmm.
there hasn't been any benefit to the republic, and Kenyans are really upset with this. If we try to follow up on these trips, for example, whenever he goes for these trips, he comes back and tells us that he met the president of this of so and so country. They had discussions, and that they are nice things. So they are nice business deals that are going to bring them together. But when we keenly look into these trips, there hasn't been any good thing. Remember the first trip when he went to the Saudi Arabia? They were
Yes.
saying this is the right time that countries should get into deals with countries. They
Yeah.
should trade directly with the countries. And remember, they signed a deal where with the Saudi Arabia government that the Saudi government was supposed to import to Kenya the fuel products. And they came back and told us how this kind of business was going to cut cost and it was the cheapest ever.
But I think that deal, I think like even there was corruption in it. It was not done in a very clean way, even to to at least make the government cut on the cost of maybe avoiding the bureaucracy or the middleman, But it was a deal that some people benefited.
That is where the problem is coming because we're asking ourselves this was a deal between the government and the government. Why would they then get into corruption deals? Because the main reason why they were getting into this deal government to government, they are saying that the middlemen have been trying to con the people of Kenya and so
Mhm,
on and so forth.
mhm.
Now, when we followed this specific deal, immediately they actualize it and the government started to pay the Saudi Arabia money.
Mhm.
We realized that the cost of fuel in Kenya was just increasing at a higher rate, and it has been increasing until when Kenyans then started to ask the question. That is when they tried to review it, and they were
Yes.
now trying to give explanations which are not adding up.
Mhm.
There is just one of the trips where government to government gets into deal. It, it really didn't benefit the people of Kenya.
Yeah.
And there is one reason why we are saying these flights are of no help. They're simply wasting money and the republic and the resources of the republic.
Does it mean like, because I know as a head of state, something that is there, you will always get invites from various countries, but is upon the like, especially like when you go to the state house, yeah, there are those invitations that they can decline and those they might attend, but if every invitation that you get from the foreign countries or any other country you are going, and the same time the country itself is not doing good, the cost of living is a nightmare to Kenyans. So the best way is to cut cost. And I think even the other day before he sneaked out, I think he went to Congo, and he was talking of government reducing the foreign trips by I don't know what billions, but he's still going out. So um, I th- I think like the state house should prioritize, like they should have priority of where should the president go, because if you look at Magufuli, the late Magufuli of Tanzania, he was one guy who never did foreign trips, yeah, and he through that cutting down on the foreign trips, he saved a lot of money through that. So I think like Kenya should borrow leave from his legacy, even though he's marehemu right now, but that is where our leadership should borrow and find a way of cutting cost, since like the high cost of living is quite very high. So that is somewhere that they should look into it.
The problem we have in Kenya is we have a president who still believes that he's young and therefore he wants to travel everywhere. And as much as he's traveling, he doesn't really care, because
Mhm.
if he cared, he would then have seen the sense.
Mhm.
He's a president, he has members of cabinet. What are the roles of the cabinet secretaries? They should be helping the president. The president should delegate works to them. We have the foreign ministers, and for that matter, a very bright guy, His Excellency Mudavadi. Mudavadi should be taking these trips so that he can reduce. When the president goes, he goes with so many people. The
but
protocol is so long.
but like what about the ambassadors in those specific countries, because they represent Kenya? We have embassies over there, so if the some meetings they can go and represent the president. It's not a must that the president has to attend.
There is where they also a problem, because it is what are the roles of the ambassadors and the CS? Especially the ambassador, they're supposed to be selling the trade issues or what with the government where they are, in the countries where they are. And as well, the foreign minister or the ministers, whenever they're delegated a work, they should be able to go to those countries and then try to negotiate and get into deals.
Mhm.
It's not the work of the president. The president is really trying to overwork, and this has been I've been saying this like most of time, is trying to overwork, and again is trying to be sane, is trying to do things so that he be seen as a working president. He's trying to capture too much attention in the world.
Mhm.
And this is where the problem is coming. He doesn't really care, and it seems that he doesn't really know his role as the president. He's doing some things which are not really necessary. You know, the role of this foreign minister, he should be taking these trips and getting into these deals. Again, the Parliament has also let us down. It is the work of Parliament uh, to summon the relevant CS and to even audit these trips, because these foreign ministers, they should come to Parliament and then tell the people that out of all these trips, what are the benefits that Kenya has really gotten from every trip that the government has made. And this has not really happened, meaning the parliament is also under control of the president, and they are not really doing their work as a legislator.
Mhm.
And this is a big issue.
Yeah.
Ruto is simply violating the law.
Mm. I think I don't know what can be done, but like I think the president need to reduce some of this trip, cut down on cost on especially some of this. He can be represent like there are ambassadors over there. So if you feel like no, not like I mean, not every invitation that comes on your desk you say
You have to
yes.
accept. Yeah, you
No,
can't really accept everything.
you cannot accept everything. Some of them you need to reject and maybe send a representative. And we have representatives like ambassadors in those countries. So I think there the president should do something. Um, uh, there's also maybe something also that is news that is also disturbing Kenya. There's something that people keep on asking themselves: the way the dollar is losing value each and every day. What might be the cost for that? Why is our Kenya shillings is losing value? Yeah, I mean, like not dollar, but the Kenya shillings is losing value. The dollar is gaining value. What might be the cause?
Before we go to the dollar issue against the Kenyan shillings,
Yes,
allow me to say this about these flights of the president.
yes.
The president wrote on a platform where he said he would be cutting the cost,
Mm-hmm.
and he knew very well that when he got into this presidency, this government,
Mm-hmm.
the country had gone through a lot of so many unforeseen things
Thanks.
that
Yeah,
really made the economy to worsen.
yeah.
As a good president, he should have majored on trying to stop the wastage of money,
Mm-hmm.
because that was his promise as far as when he was getting into this government. The cost of living is too high,
Yeah.
the inflation is going up, and to the people of Kenya, these trips are really unnecessary.
Mm.
He should try to focus on trying to reduce the cost of spendage and the cost of wastage, because this will really help the country to focus on other things which are more important. If you even try to look at the money that they spend for every trip or for all these trips,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a
This
lot.
is this is money that can build several schools, can start several businesses that can even create jobs for the people of Kenya.
True.
Yeah. Now, on that again, there's been a very lavish lifestyle.
Of the state officers.
The president has a convoy of V8s, very big machines. And the other day,
Yeah,
they were telling us that in a year, since he got into office,
yeah.
the president alone
Mm-hmm.
in his office,
Yeah.
they have spent almost 550 something million on fuel products only. That is fuel, and the service of the vehicles. Then
Mm.
you ask yourself, this is just one president. 550 something is that's half a billion.
Hmm.
That is something that can. What is the need of a president going with a convoy of 50 V8s? What is the need in a country where the people of Kenya are really suffering?
Are
In a
suffering.
country where there are no job opportunities for the citizens and for the young people. The other day, there was a job advert in in one of around Waraka,
Yes.
and they needed around 1,000 to 1,500 workers.
Mhm.
Almost 7,000 Kenyans showed up for this job.
Job.
Yeah, and then you ask yourself, where are the government? Are they really even seeing the things that are happening on the ground? The people of Kenya are really suffering. The youths are almost 3 million youths are
Mhm.
unemployed. They have the relevant or the required education for them to get employment.
Mhm.
They're just working, trying to find a way so that they can also find a way of surviving. It's so
Surviving.
unfortunate for a government to really not care about its citizens because remember, the constitution is also very clear. This
Uh-huh.
is a government of the people and the people should be given priority. It's unfortunate that the government, especially the president, can spend 550 million in a year just on vehicles. That is so uncalled for
But
and very unnecessary.
does it mean that this is the kind of like environment that we have created ourselves? Because even the people of Kenya, even though some percentages, some quarters usually tend to question this, but you'll find like those who might be allied to Mr. President, yeah, they don't see anything wrong with the president spending such. This group of Kenyans who feel like the president is doing a good job, they don't see that as an issue. And there's also a group of Kenyans who feels like the president is not doing something right. So it is also the responsibility of Kenyans electorate to start question some of this, with one voice rather than like taking sides, because at the end of the day, when the cost of living is so high like it is right now, it is not very selective. Yeah. Whether you're supporting president or you're not, you it is across the board, you know so the same way the cost of living is across the board for all Kenyans. When we see things like the unnecessary or multiple trips that the president is making, as Kenyans, we should come out and question him about all those, so that you know some changes can take place.
Uh, I have ever liked this member of parliament. It's called Ndidi Njoro.
Yeah, Nini Njoro. Yeah.
Njoro is a young member of parliament
Hmm.
and is currently the chairman of the budget committee.
Yes.
I was really surprised when a young man of his age and someone with a bright future in politics would come out and then tell the people of Kenya that Ruto is really has done a good work, and he was saying that the Republic of Kenya is now at a good place
Mhm.
and there are no debts or something like that, and that the people of Kenya have started seeing the benefits. Now you ask yourself, this is a young man, this is someone who should be understanding the young people.
uh,
Where are we going as a country? It's so unfortunate that the people that we trusted, the young people that we trust that would then help us
uh-huh,
or help the people of Kenya,
uh-huh.
they have been brainwashed, they have become sycophants, they walk everywhere the president to praise him. They don't want to tell him that The people of Kenya are suffering. They don't want to tell the president that the people of Kenya are fed up,
Uh-huh.
that he should change his style of leadership, that he should focus on trying to help the economy of the Republic of Kenya, that he should focus on helping the people, the young people get jobs.
Mm.
It's so unfortunate. It's
Um,
so unfortunate.
I don't know whether you remember or you might not, or the history of JJ Kamotho, with the late JJ Kamotho with the late President Moi. And
Yes,
JJ Kamotho, where everything that His Excellency, the late President Moi said, he was saying Dio Baba. So it was like a situation whereby you want to tell the president or make the president happy that he has somebody who supports him. Maybe you might get favors, or that one might make you to be ahead of your peers who you might be competing with for any position, or to feel like you are you love president more than them at the expenses of your country, you know. So that is what is happening with some of our leaders, especially the
psych-
psychophancy. That is what is.
sycophancy in this era, in
Yeah,
this generation, that
yeah.
is for any modern person.
Yeah.
When you're a true leader, you should always stand up and defend the people. As much as he is from the government,
Mhm,
I think the best thing as a leader is sometimes when you see things are not really working out, it's
mhm,
good to stand up and tell the people, oh, maybe here we made a mistake. We are sorry. We're trying to rectify.
mhm,
It's not possible for a normal person to always just say yes, yes to everything. That is not, in this era, it's not really making sense. And that really tells us that we still have a long way, we as the people of Africa, the people of Kenya.
mhm,
If we don't really change our mind and elect people who have their own mind, people who can reason, people who can represent the people with
mhm,
the leadership skills,
mhm.
then we are still really going to have big problems in the future.
We are indeed, because no, this is not even happening with those in government, and this is happening with all the majority of our leaders. They are leaders who their loyalty is not to their country,
It
and
is to their bosses.
is to their bosses. Because if I question my boss, I may end up losing even maybe the position that I've been given in parliament, in the committees and all this, because like that's where they make a lot of allowances. So it's about like everyone for
Trying to
themselves.
protect the job.
Yeah, protect the job and for your family, like everyone for themselves, and God for us all. So that is the kind of leadership that we usually see. It's not all with the government. Is not with the government. It is there in opposition. It is everywhere in the political, even in the political parties. It is something that is there. And I think the main reason for this is because our political parties, majority of them do not have what we call ideology. You know, because like when you look at their formation, when they are formed, yeah, when the political parties are formed, they are formed out of circumstances. Look at even the history of how uh, when the ODM came into play. Remember, it was about the Machungwa and the Ndizi campaign. Then immediately after that referendum, that's how the ODM Kenya came. And there was those kind of like misunderstanding. Kalonzo went with the ODM Kenya. We remained with the ODM. So look at then all the political parties and their lifespan is quite too short. Yeah, yeah. Remember, we had TNA. The TNA died, URP died. We came with Jubilee, And now you see what happened to the Jubilee, because Jubilee was a bigger party, and the vision of Jubilee was like, oh, if you listen or you read the Jubilee vision, you say like, Kenya, we are going places. But that one was short-lived. The UDA now, the UDA is now here. Let's wait and see, and what is going to happen to the UDA, whether it's going to stay for maybe 10 years the way ODM has done. Actually, ODM has passed the test of time, because it has stayed longer than is expected in some of the political parties.
Yeah, it's true, but it's. I think the people of Kenya should also they should change their mentality
Mm-hmm.
because we are the people. We are the people who exist as per these times. So anything that affects us,
Mm-hmm.
at times we should go back to our senses and then tell ourselves that maybe we've made a mistake, and we should then try to rectify whatever mistake that we've made.
Okay.
It is high time the people of Kenya come back to their senses, and then when they're making decisions when it comes to politics, they should elect people not based on the level of sycophancy or the level of trust to their so-called bosses. They
Mm-hmm.
should elect people who can represent them, the people who have their own thinking, the people who are not corrupt in any way, and the people who defend and stand by their words. Again, in this lifestyle, the lavish lifestyle of the president,
Mm-hmm.
most of them are a long gone road, and then sometimes I see the police block the road. Then when you'll hear the sirens, and then the police and the vehicles will pass around 40 vehicles, and then you'll be told, "Oh, that's the deputy president is going to is carrying home." If you're not a Kenyan, suppose you've just visited Kenya, and then you ask, "Oh, who is that?" You may think that those are maybe five presidents, a convoy of five presidents. But it's so unfortunate that only one deputy president. If you see a convoy, if you see the way they stop, they make a jam in this road, you'll be
Mm-hmm.
surprised. The CS,
The
when a
CS.
CS is passing here,
Uh,
I remember when this 2010 constitution started was
mm,
then when we started using this 2010 constitution.
mm-hmm.
I used to stay in Kisumu, and then the first governor of Kisumu, that is Jack Ranguma.
Yes.
When he was the governor, Jack Ranguma, they would close all the roads when he was going from Kisumu town to his home in Ahera.
In air.
You'll be surprised. And then I said to myself, oh, so this is how any governor would look like a president.
Yeah, and that's why they are fighting for that position, those privileges. That's why.
It's so unfortunate. I think, what for? Why should a governor have 20 escorts? What for? Who wants to kill the governor? Just a governor. This is not someone from heaven. This is someone who is just born here in Kenya. There's nothing special about them. These are just human beings.
uh, that's that's country Kenya. That's what he's all about. So I think like what we are missing out on, especially in Kenya as a country, is leadership. Yeah, and leadership in terms of leaders who cares about the challenges that the Kenyan people are facing. The majority of the leaders we have cares so much about their interest. Their interest is their priority. Then the interest of the country will always come second, because this is, you see it even when it comes to tendering, how the quotation are being inflated. There's nothing that can be done in Kenya without somebody getting a kickback or getting his commission or a commission. Like, we ndakupatia hii job, utanipatia ngapi? Lugha ya biashara ya Kenya ni kwamba nakupatia ngapi. na hiyo kitu imekita mizizi katika hata katika jamii zetu sisi. Hata Mkenya wa kawaida akienda kutafuta huduma katika ofisi za serikali, lazima yeye mwenyewe ajiambie akuwe na pesa kidogo kwa mfuko, ili aende apatiane, ili kazi yake ama huduma ambayo atakuwa anataka ifanyike kwa haraka sana. Na unajua Wakenya pia wamependa vitu za kuenda haraka, hakuna utaratibu ambao wanafuata sana, na hiyo inatumiza kama nchi na inatumiza sana tu kama jamii. So that is something that we need to 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 run or to get out from. Like, we need to start serving our country with a lot of diligence and integrity. If we are not doing that, then we will not be having country in the few years to come. Can you say something about the week of the Kenya shillings?
Yes, Kenyan shilling has been weakening each and every day.
Mm-hmm.
And in August last year, in August 2022, Kenyan shilling was the rate of Kenyan shilling to dollar was changing at an exchange rate of $1 to 118 or
Mm-hmm.
109, something like that.
Yeah.
There has been a serious increase, and currently it's changing at $1 to 150. And
Yeah.
it's being said that it might increase or rise.
Mm.
This is unfortunate, especially for this country. Remember, we've always been the giants of Kenyan shilling has been the giants, especially in the Eastern Africa. And of late, it's really depreciating. And it was so unfortunate when the CBK governor was then summoned at the parliament, and then he was asked the reason why. He was asked to explain to the people of Kenya why the Kenyan shilling was depreciating at a higher rate.
Mm-hmm.
It was so unfortunate that he was saying that Kenyan shilling has been overvalued. And then we ask ourselves,
Who overvalued it?
that is why he was not really being clear
Eh,
that the Kenyan shilling was overvalued, and so it is depreciating. It's shedding off the overvalue. It was tagged on it.
mm,
Such kind of explanations for someone in those positions. These are not leaders. These are not people who are really helping this economy. It's so unfortunate that they are not advising the government on serious issues or the measures to put so that we can bring back the economy and the
mm,
Kenyan shilling would then rise. From my understanding, I think there has been a decrease in uh, Kenyan shilling because the balance of trade, number one, I think, is the balance of trade.
mm-hmm,
Kenya imports almost everything.
mm-hmm.
We import fuel products, we import food, we import clothes, machineries, pharmaceutical, vehicles. And mark you, the level of our export is too low.
It's too
We
low.
export very few things, meaning Kenya's mostly survive on imports. And that is so dangerous for a country. And for you to buy all these kind of fuel products, food, and everything, you have to use dollar.
Yeah.
So that reason, the dollar that we use to buy this product is too high,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore the ones, and we don't really get it back when these people are buying from us.
Yeah.
So the imbalance in trade has caused us to have or to lack to want to need more of dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So that is number one. And then number two, there is something called artificial control of the financial market by the government interventions. It's said that sometimes back when the government of United States they increased their interest trade increased by $500, but it was unfortunate for the Republic of Kenya that they only increased it but by 200. So they never really matched it 500 to 500 the way the US increased theirs. So this really affected the exchange rate. And then number three, there's something called the global stresses,
Mm-hmm.
like the war in Ukraine and Russia, the
Mm-hmm.
war in Israel and Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
Remember these people, they produce very vital products to the
Yeah.
whole world.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, a decrease means there would be high demand for this kind of products since you'll find that if suppose they were producing fuel products and then they are now at war, meaning they either will be producing less
Less, or there will
or
be no production.
yeah, so there will be a stress where people will be trying to struggle for the ones which are there, and that would then increase the prices, hence affecting or stressing the dollar. So those are the main reasons why Kenyan shilling is really depreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And there are ways in which government can try to
To
help the
stabilize.
Kenyan shilling,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
but the government has really not placed good measures or the right ways to make it at least increase or decrease in either way. So
Then,
it's unfortunate. The government really needs to do much on our economy. They need to reduce the cost of importing things.
mhm.
Remember, we import everything,
Yeah.
things to do with flour, uh, egg, or what. We import these things from Uganda, and that is why Ugandan shilling has been a bit steady
And
because most of the products
I read
they
somewhere, I read somewhere in the paper they were saying like the best place now to invest is Tanzania.
Yeah, it's most investors in Kenya are really flying to Tanzania. I know of so many companies in Kenya which have been closed, and this is really being brought by the level of high taxes.
Mhm.
This government has really increases so many taxes, and therefore these people, the investors, they're seeing themselves not getting the right profit.
Profit, yeah.
And for that manner, they are really flying away, going to find out to find countries where they can get some profits. Remember, the investors, they are really after the profits, and
Yeah.
if you can't really get it, and there's a place where you are sure you're going to get it, they are really flying to go to those places. It's also unfortunate that the other day, the
Mhm.
cabinet secretary for state, now it's called the state departments, Mr. C.S. Korea,
Yeah.
is now saying that they're proposing that government activity, that any government, if you go to any government office
And
and you're
to, to,
seeking
to get
some,
services, you have to pay for those services,
yeah,
especially when you go to Duma Center.
it's so unfortunate because the reason why Huduma centers were placed is because they should help, especially the low people, the poor people.
Yes,
If you then want to start taxing someone who's going to look for an ID,
an ID.
you really think I will even go to look for that ID? I'll tell myself it's not necessary because of course there are no jobs. So am I like it doesn't really make sense.
Mm-hmm.
They should change their leadership skills.
I think maybe our government is so much obsessed by getting money so quick. This idea of like we we want to get it so quick. Like we like by Friday we should make such um, uh, a billion of shillings or what. But I think this is due to one thing. Yeah, I think this is due to the promises that they made to Kenyans during the campaigns. Yeah, because the way the promises were made, it appeared like these are something like immediately we step into the office, things are going to change. Like we get into the office today and tomorrow you are getting this new Kenya. And this is I was the other time I was saying that there's this kind of like the president during the campaign, he made himself to be seen like the prodigal son who was coming to save the hustler nation, the people who have been living below the poverty line, the people who have been suffering, the border border, the mamamboga, and everybody. And he made them believe that this government, it's going to be him, the president, the deputy president, then a border border guy, a mamamboga somewhere. So because he said this government is going to be made by you, and he created. I usually say that he created this hustler tribe. We call it the hustler tribe. That was not existing, and made them believe like this government of ours. But immediately he gets into the office, everything changed, and that tribe was left there. So for you to compensate for every promise that you made, now you need to work extra hard because you wanted to put money in their pockets. So I think that one could be one of the reasons, like, is tax everywhere.
The only thing that really saved Kenyans, especially the people who never voted for this government, is the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya.
Mm,
I'm telling you, if we had a monarchical kind of government,
mm,
then the people who never voted for this government, they would have really suffered
mm,
because the government would really ignore them,
mm,
literally,
mm,
and they would have focused on trying to deliver for the people who voted for them.
mm.
The good thing, the constitution is very clear. You have to do things in a way, in a manner that is right, and that is what is really helping the people of Kenya. With the kind of mentality that the leadership of Kenya has,
Mhm,
it would be a different thing.
mhm.
And for that reason, they overpromised the people of Kenyans. It's so unfortunate. Me, one thing I've never really understood is Ruto was the deputy president. Like he knew how the state is being run. He had the idea. He knew how much money the state had. He knew the kind of things that would be done. Like if he was a newcomer into this field, we would somehow understand him. But this is someone who has been in this. He has been in this field. He knows how to play. And it's so unfortunate that he overpromised and then now he can't actualize. And then we ask ourselves, did he come from heaven or did he come from some other country? Because now he's really just doing nothing. He's really talking things that a leader shouldn't even talk about.
You see, another weakness we have also with Kenya is this. There in most of the countries, especially like the European countries, there are those the state officers, the people who are employed, and if you're employed by state, much you when a new government come into place, there are people who you cannot staff that you cannot just come and start taking them, sucking them, okay, doing this. The only place that you might find the executive has control, you can only have control 100% the people that you're going to work with in your office. That's where you have like the control. But when it comes to public servants, yeah, like the government advisors, those who are advising, like those are the untouchable. You don't touch them because those are government. But you feel like in Kenya, when you're coming in, you come with all your people, you know, and because you want to reward them. They campaign for you, whether they you don't look at the integrity that they have or their background. Is that because you gave some money to me or you supported me during the campaigns? Here is the job. You so and so, a Kenyan citizen who is doing a good job, is going to lose job just because somebody who supported you is coming in, yet he's not qualified to do that job. And that is one problem that we have as a country. And that
The
one will not make our country to grow. We will not grow if that is the mentality and the view of how new government come into place.
most of government employees are incompetent. They are corrupt.
Yeah.
Especially, majority of them have issues to do with their integrity. The integrity in them is unquestionable. Most of them had cases for frauding and even corrupt dealings. These are the people who are running the government. What do you expect? This government is really going to fail. And it's just time. Let's give them time. We are going to see a serious failure.
Mhm.
And the good thing is that the people of Kenya have seen